Hi everybody, this is Alan Ellman, the Blue Collar Investor, with today's option selling question of the day. Today's question comes from Hai, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's spelled H-A-I. Alan, I bought 100 shares of SINA, that's ticker SINA, on 5/22/17 for $104.70, and then sold the 105 call for $5.85. Last week, June 5th, the price was down, and I bought back the option for 20%. I tried to roll down, but the order did not go through. I spoke to my broker, who said it had something to do with changes in the number of shares and options were not available that day. Can you explain this situation? Thanks a lot. Signed, Hai. Well, that certainly does sound complicated. All of a sudden, the options seem to disappear off the face of the earth after the price of the stock declining substantially to the point where we're able to buy back the option at 20% of the original sale price. So let's just review the dilemma of this particular trade, and then we'll see if we can kind of figure things out and make some sense of this. So to summarize the trade, on 5/22, SINA was purchased at 104.70, and the slightly out of the money 105 call was sold at 5.85. Now this represents a 5.6% initial 1-month return, which is on the high side. So just this return alone tells us that there is a high implied volatility in the underlying security. In other words, the market is anticipating a lot of price movement without identifying the direction that movement is going to be in. And so the good news is higher premium, and the bad news is greater risk of share decline. So that's something you have to measure to make sure that it meets your personal risk tolerance. My sweet spot is 2 to 4% for 1-month initial returns, but I will go up to 6% in a bull market environment. Now on 6/5, the trade was closed using the 20% guideline, which means that the option was purchased back for under $1.20 per share. And but the options were not available to then roll down to a lower strike price. So I was trying to mitigate the losses here, and he wasn't able to do it. The broker was a little vague, so not really too helpful there. And you know, Hai wants to know, hey, what the heck happened here? So before we get into it and kind of research things out, because that's what you have to do when things kind of puzzling, you have to research it out. Let's have a broad look at this trade graphically by looking at the price chart of SINA before, during, and after this event. Now in this particular screenshot, we could see in the yellow field that there was a bullish trend taking place at the time that this trade was initially executed. And Hai used a slightly out of the money strike, slightly bullish. So kind of made sense because the technical trend was bullish. However, things started to turn around. As you can see in the brown field, the trend started turning the other way. And then we had that gap down on June 5th, representing that purple field over there. So we have to research it out. Hey, what happened with that gap down, number one? And number two, where are the options? Where did they go? What happened? So what we do is we go to a site where we could research this out and see if any of this kind of makes sense and fits. And you could see here on the screenshot the information that I found, that SINA was about to distribute, and it happened on June 5th, in a one-time special dividend in the form of stock shares. So for every share of SINA owned, the holder of those shares were going to also receive 1/10 of a share of Weibo Corp, or WB. So what happens there is the price of the stock goes down, but that's compensated for by the shares of WB. So you're made whole. You don't lose anything. You don't have a windfall and you don't lose anything. You're simply made whole. But from looking at the price of the stock, it did go down a lot because of the distribution of the dividend in the form of stock. So next, what we want to do is see how did this corporate event, this one-time special cash dividend, impact our options. So we want to know about the contract adjustments. I talked about this a lot in the past with stock splits, cash dividends. So there's a lot of material in my books and DVDs and website regarding these dividend distributions. In this particular case, the dividend is in the form of stock. So I'll give you the sites where you can get all this for free in just a moment, but here's what I picked up from the CBOE site on the contract adjustment for SINA, and I highlighted the most important areas. So at the top, you can see that the option symbol, which always has the ticker symbol of the stock, changed from SINA to SINA2. When you see something like that, you know that there was a corporate event that caused the contracts to change. And then it's our obligation to figure out what that change was. We rarely have to do this, but it'll come up from time to time. We could see in the middle there that the effective date was June 5th, which was the day that High was looking around for his options but couldn't find them. And that's because when you have these new options that are being created, sometimes they're not created the very first day. It may take a day or two for that to happen. I'm fairly certain that if High had checked the next day, June 6th, that he would have seen that those SINA2 options available to then roll down if that's what he wanted to do. The number of contracts remains the same, and the ticker symbol, as I said, changes from SINA to SINA2. So the formula at the bottom is that 1 SINA2 equals SINA plus 0.10 WB. So you made whole. The price of the stock goes down, but you're going to get shares of WB to make up for that difference. So again, no windfall and no loss. You're made 100% whole, but you also have to understand that your option contracts are going to change, and you have to know how to deal with that. So as I said before, let me give you the resources where I got this information for you. And so in the future, you can access this yourself, and these are all free sites. So as far as creating the chart that I showed you that represented the uptrend and then the gap down, that's from stockcharts.com. And a great site for stock news is finviz.com. And finally, for contract adjustments, go to cboe.com/trading-resources and then /contract-adjustments. Then you put in the ticker symbol of the stock, SINA in this case, and it will give you the contract adjustments, all of them really, and then the most recent one is on the top, and that'll give you the explanation that you're looking for. So there you have it. The two explanations are that there was a gap down in price that allowed for the buyback of the option at 20% due to the special one-time dividend in the form of shares. And then the options were nowhere to be found on June 5th because the new options had not yet been posted or established. June 6th would have been the day that you would be able to find those moving forward. So actually, even though it doesn't happen often, a very, very important question, and I thank you so much for bringing it to my attention and asking that question. And of course, thanks to everybody out there for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you benefit from it. As always, this is Ellman, the Blue Collar Investor. Take care, everybody.